TV tonight, Saturday. If you're watching from the continent, we want to salute you and wish you, I think, almost in East Africa, so that should be about 10 p.m. If you're watching somewhere in Kenya or Tanzania, in Rwanda, so we're wishing you maybe some some time before you go to bed. So, but if you're watching from Europe, it's 8 p.m. If you're watching from the Americas, it's 2 p.m. Eastern American Standard Time. The Caribbean should be around 3 p.m. now. And wherever you're watching from, we want to salute you on this special edition with the powerful Team A. The Team A is the ADDI squad, led by Her Excellency Ambassador Arikana Shikomorikwa, the powerful engine, the one that is the number one right now, unbeatable, unchallengeable. And you see this whole team that she's been bringing here. So you guys get set because we have a lot of news, big, good, sweet news for you. I mean, do you want to know how much after launching the 1 million campaign? It's just a week. Do you know how much came in just in a week? Wow. I mean, we're so proud of you, African people and Pan-African and Black melanated people worldwide. You're doing a very incredible job. I mean, remember, our target is to get this 1 million funding in 1 month. But the way I see it, anyway, it's good. It's not really very good and satisfactory, but I think we are started and the launch should continue. So what is going to happen here today? As you can see, this handsome gentleman sitting here, all the way live from the Canadas. I mean, he has a lot to tell us about, healthcare and what is he sitting there and doing in the ADDI. He is called, as you can see on the screen, Dr. David Katsila. Dr. David Katsila is going to give us a lot of input where the money lies in terms of healthcare that you African people are not taking advantage of. Can you imagine that? I mean, he's been trained as a medical doctor, a specialist. We don't yet, I don't even know what kind of, specialty, but he's going to tell us everything. So, but he knows where the money is. Can you imagine this? So this is the kind of expertise that ADDI is hosting and housing, the competence, the knowledge, the skills, where the money is, they know it. You understand? So we also have Miss Amira. Miss Amira, that one is my best boy. I call her my best boy. You know why? Look at the hat she's wearing, and then we'll talk about that later during the show. So she is in charge of outreach on the ADDI team. We want to know how far she's gone because I keep getting feedbacks from the Pan African Daily TV followers that are saying, "Oh, I don't know where I can get in touch with who is in charge of outreach. They don't respond to my messages, so we want to put her to a test today and ask what has she been doing? What has she been doing that people don't get to her? Has she been reaching out that good? Yeah. So if you are joining my Facebook platforms, hey, make sure you click the link and share. If you're watching from my YouTube channel, if you have not subscribed, make sure you do that because there's a lot going on right now on the Pan African Daily TV. And believe me, the leads get wider and wider, and we can reach out to all of you to send you messages on updates on programs on ADDI, and what is making news on the continent and in the diaspora. So, but if you click and subscribe and click the notification bell, so you don't need to worry each time we're live. Good. So yesterday, I'm very sorry for what happened with Maponga Joshua. He couldn't make it yesterday. There was some breakout down there, and so but he will be live with us tomorrow. And we're also going to have a special birthday celebration for Honorable Bobby Wine, who turned 39 yesterday. Okay, yeah. So while we are waiting for Her Excellency to join, his crew here, and we will just start by asking our queen and the king sitting in front of us how they're doing today. Queen Amira, how are you?
I'm doing well. How about yourself? Thank you so much for having me, Dr. Susan. It's awesome to be here.
Yeah, so how are your granddaughters doing or your grandchildren doing out there?
Oh my goodness.
I tried to reach you for 1 week and all I hear is kids crying from the background. What was happening?
So, yeah, well, I am here with my grandchildren. So I have a 13-year-old grandson and an 8-year-old granddaughter. And so we have been doing all sorts of things. We were at the archery range yesterday with my grandson. He loves the bow and arrow. So we did archery. We were at Urban Air for my granddaughter because she loves to flip and somersault and all of that. So I've just been tooling around here, keeping them entertained, making sure that they eat good food and not tempt me to eat bad food.
Not good for you.
Exactly, exactly. They know how serious Yaya is about her food. And my grandson had the suggestion. He said, well, how about since we eat good food all the time, how about we just have one day to eat bad food? And I was like, no, because we're all going to end up with tummy aches afterwards if we do. But we had movie night. We watched Cinderella, the Black Cinderella with Whitney Houston and Brandy. So we did that last night. So we've been having a great time spending, investing time together. And Yaya does have a flight to catch in a couple of hours. So I will be heading to the airport soon. But definitely enjoy spending time, investing time rather with my grandchildren. This is why I'm a part of ADDI. Everything that I do that has to do with ADDI, I do it for my grandchildren with them in mind, for what I look through their eyes and say, what is it that I would love for them to see? What is it that I would love for them to have available to them, not only here in the United States of America, but on the motherland, and really to make sure that I go and prepare a place for them so that they have some place to be when I am no longer here in the flesh.
I mean, it's so amazing seeing all the young grandmothers. I mean, when I was growing up, a queen, I mean, I knew my grandmother. I mean, you could feel, this is grandmother. You see the wrinkles, and you see the experience, and you see she was walking on like, and you really felt grandmother. And you're just sitting here, the XYZ generation. That's what we call you now. Very young, fresh. I mean, smart. And you call yourself a grandmother. How grand are you in the motherhood? I mean, it's not about physical. I'm just like, do they really say grandmother?
Yeah, yeah. My babies call me Yay.
Uh-huh.
They call me Yay. I wasn't ready for like the label grandma. But I'm definitely up for the task of the duty of the grandma. I'm definitely up for that. So Yay is here, and I work hard, like I said, to prepare a place for my grandchildren for their future and their children's future as well. Because we definitely have to look far ahead, and that's why it's great to be at the side of a wonderful mentor and visionary that we have in Dr. Arikana, because her vision, she is an eagle. So she soars and sees things that we don't even see yet. So it makes it easy for us to take that vision and take what it is that we know how to do and what our superpowers are, and really help to build on that and make that a reality. So that is something that's super important to each and every one of us that play a role in it. And again, we want everybody to participate in this, because again, we are marching on the right side of history with this particular organization, for sure.
Wow. I mean, that's why I like when the team is here, because I mean, the feeling and the energy that you're putting out there is amazing. Congratulations for your job and for your work, for your engagement, and particularly for the vision. You sitting there as a mother, as a daughter, as a queen, and 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 seeing that vision, not just working because you want to achieve something, but doing something for your children. That is incredible. And I think that's the spirit of ADDI. Ladies and gentlemen, all of you that are joining us today, we are with the Team A, led by Her Excellency Ambassador Dr. Arikana, and we are still here to talk about the ADDI, but particularly also to raise the awareness campaign on the $1 million dollar for ADDI. So if you're joining in and wondering who is this sitting here, hey, I want to go back to Dr. David Casilla. Doctor?
Hi. Hi,
Hi.
Susan. Hi. You know what? I'm so excited to be the thorn among roses right now. I'm surrounded by these beautiful, powerful ladies here. And Susan, you're one of those. I've been following you on YouTube. Your interviews are amazing. And just what you're doing for the motherland is just, I'm speechless actually to describe that. And you, along with other powerful women, and obviously Dr. Arikana is among the top ones there, right there, who is mentoring all of us and pulling us along. I believe the future is female, and I hope my male folk won't crucify me for saying that. But in dealing with my own mother and dealing with powerful women, I've come to learn that there's something about what women bring to the table that is understated and that is that we should be taking advantage of. So I'm really glad to be here. I can see the ambassador is here, so I'll
Yes,
stop there.
exactly.
Oh, she's gone.
I wanted to say Ambassador is here and we are going to usher her in and welcome her because we were just warming the platform and waiting for her to be here so that we can get the conversation going. Her Excellency Ambassador, good evening.
Good evening. My apologies for being late. As usual, another phone call came that delayed me in joining this call. My sincere apologies.
Accepted mother. A mother is a mother. And even if you had to wait till tomorrow, we'll be waiting for you. So it is okay. And we understand the challenge. We understand your engagement. And so how has it been with you this week? I know I've been following up and you've been here and there, but I've just received very good news on the campaign. How good are we?
We actually have done surprisingly well. Our message last week was well received. So far this week, starting since the program, we have received about $14,445. The last $5 came in this morning. And so the people are reacting. I think what it is it's a message that is resonating with a lot of Black people around the globe. The message of hope, the message of saying once and for all, we as Black people, just like other groups of people, we must come together. We must speak with one voice, and the responsibility of building the Africa we want is ours and ours alone. And we must accept that bull by the horns and run with it. So I'm really glad to say to you that our message of last week was very well received, and we hope to continue the same message where we can say once and for all, particularly like Dr. Kajila is saying, being the only thorn in this bush today, that as Black women, we're sick and tired of being sick and tired. Something has got to give. We have got to do something about what is going on with our race. We've got to do something about the future generations. Life can no longer continue to be what it is for Black people. It can no longer continue to be business as usual for Black people. We have normalized the abnormal for far too long. Enough is enough.
Congratulations, Dr. Arikana. I mean, it's all thanks to you that Africans are waking up and waking up so fast than expected. What do you think was the cause of this delayance that people could not trust the systems that we're working with? Was it a lack of a wake-up call? Was it a lack of a strategic plan to show them the way forward? What was it that was actually lacking?
I think to every season, there's a moment. Things had to be bad enough. Things had to be in our faces like it is right now. I think we went through a period where we were fast asleep After the civil rights movement, I'm reminded of how I had to take my own inventory after the death of Cicely Tyson to think about the struggles, the fights that they waged on our behalf, how we are enjoying some of the liberties that we are enjoying today in this country because of what they endured. But then we went through a period where we just went to sleep. It's like we were meant to believe that everything was okay now.
Mhm.
And we all felt and we drank the Kool-Aid of that erroneous message that everything was okay. But in this country, for example, when you look at the series of Black men and women who have died in the hands of the police, and some of the most gruesome ways that one human being could treat another, slowly the realities, and thanks to social media and the cell phones, we were able to capture. What has always been happening is just that we swept it under the table and we were meant to believe that it's all good. We are all equal. No, we're not. We are not equal. Others are more equal than others. So I think this moment, because of what we're able to share as humanity, to really put the racism in everybody's living room. George Floyd, for example, was a perfect example that no matter how much you wanted to deny it, I felt for the first time as Black people, as white people, we were looking out through a window. And for the first time, we were seeing the same thing. Our vision was the same. So for those who doubted that racism existed, George Floyd reminded them that yes, it does. For that white police officer,
Okay. Bring the other three. I think we lost her, but she'll be connecting very soon. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that are joining, we are having a conversation with the ADDI, the African Diaspora Development Institute, led by Her Excellency Ambassador Arikana Shikomori, founder and president of this initiative, the first ever umbrella organization that is engaging and getting all the African diaspora initiatives under one scope, under one scope. Yes, so the ADDI is here tonight to share their vision of a united Africa. They are here tonight to share the vision of trust, of reliability. They're here to share a vision of an African dream that is coming true. We've heard a lot. We've tried a lot. We've had even speakers, but nothing has happened. But the ADDI is here with a powerful team. Things suddenly are happening. I hope we'll be able to get Her Excellency here again. As you've heard, um, just in 1 week, the diaspora was able to come up with $14,455. 14,005. I just say 15,000 because I know
It just rounded off.
as you're watching me, there are connections that are coming, there are donations that are coming in, and we should be at 15,000 right now. Yes, but we still have a long way to go. We still have a long way to go. So in fact, that from this week, next week, we're going to get another 15,000, that will be 30,000. What if we double it? 1 week is 15, the other week 30, so we'll be at 45. Anyway, so I'll go back to David. Dr. David, you were saying something before Her Excellency was cut up?
Yeah, no,
Hi.
I was just complimenting what you're doing. Our Excellency is back, so I'll let her take it up from there, and maybe I'll come in later. You got
Okay.
that, Your Excellency?
Her Excellency.
I don't know what this issue with technology. You young people can tell me what's going on. I was just booted out.
No, they don't like you saying that your people just gave you 15,000. What the hell?
Oh, wonderful. No, I was
Yeah.
saying, with George Floyd, people of all races were able to look out the window, and our vision was the same. We saw for a change the naked truth, racism in its truth. There was no denying it. And I think for the first time, those who doubted that racism existed, they were reminded once again that they were wrong. So I think the reason there's this increased awareness is because people finally are saying, it is real. I was living in this bubble where I was imagining that all was good, that we're all equal. No, we're not. So here we are at a moment that even those who don't look like us, they're also saying there's something terribly wrong with this picture. How can we continue to meet such abuses towards a group of people? We are all equal under God. And this is the world that we all thrive to have for our children, regardless of our skin color. I think it's only fair that we, as elders, adults on earth today, we demand that we truly, truly are all equal under God. And this is what this moment is calling for. And there's an awakening, not only among Black people, but among white people as well, to say we can no longer continue to mistreat and abuse each other based on the color of our skin. This moment is calling for change. This moment is calling for us to say once and for all, let's follow the naked truth. Racism does exist, not only in the United States, but around the globe. And a lot of abuses are meted to Black people around the globe. That needs to come to an end. So that awakening is there because of what has happened and what continues to happen around the globe.
Absolute. Thank you. But one thing that I would like maybe for us to address, I think it's also because the ADDI is a structure on which the diaspora can rely and trust because of the leadership, because of the voice, and because of particularly you, Her Excellency. It is not just about your engagement or your project, it's particularly about you, the person, the mother, the queen that you are, the grandmother, the woman that sits and say, I need all my children. I don't care what color or what background and status they are. I just want good for the next generation. Do you have that kind of a feeling like it's just the trust and the engagement that you put out there that gives that credibility and the trust for people to say yes, we can trust this organization and the 1 million campaign is taking another direction?
I, I have to say, let me all start by saying I am privileged to be in the position that I am in the sense that my kids are grown. I can afford to give all my time and devote all my time to ADDI. I can also say I understand that which has led us to mistrust each other, to not believe in ourselves. It is precisely for that reason that I don't even want a salary from ADDI. Why? Because this moment is calling for all of us to give. This moment is calling for all of us to be reminded that we are in the process of building a home for ourselves, a home that was destroyed by our settlers that came to Africa long before slavery, a home that was destroyed by our settlers, not only our physical home, but our home in our minds. They made us lose everything about ourselves. It's a moment we're saying, as we build this house, everybody must come to the table saying, what can I do? These are the tools in my toolbox. What can I do? Not for people to say, what can I get? We're not there. This moment is about rebuilding the Africa that once was. This moment is calling for unity. And if I'm going to lead this organization, it starts with me. That giving process starts with me. I'm a medical doctor. I could be making a lot of money, especially with COVID. Doctors can tell you how much monies that are available out there. But I've devoted 1,000% of my time in putting together this organization. If I had to be away for 12 hours working, there's no way I could push this movement. This movement is a job 24 hours a day. I don't
Correct.
go to bed until about 2 a.m., 3 a.m., sometimes 4 a.m. every morning. Because when I finish with the calls in the US, I start with the calls in East Africa, and then West Africa as they're beginning to wake up before I finally go back to bed. It's a commitment, but I'm blessed in the sense that I'm at a point in my life that I can make that commitment. There are many others, I'm sure, who would love to give that much commitment, but they're not at a point where they can do that because of their children, all kinds of activities, reasons that they cannot give the full commitment. But I can tell you right now, the team that has come to the table for ADDI, two of them are sitting right here. They give a lot of their time, 24/7. I can call Dr. Kajila, it doesn't matter what time, he'll answer the call. I can call Sister Amira, it doesn't matter what time. She's like she just runs around like a chicken without a head. They will be there. They will answer that call. So we have many that have joined ADDI, and they're coming to the table and saying, Ambassador, what can we do? And that's what we're looking for. That's what this moment is calling for. So I'm blessed that they are trusting me with this tremendous responsibility, and I intend to make sure that I do not let anybody down. I am going to work every ounce of energy in my body to make this organization a success, and I do not want anything. I will never take a penny out of ADDI as a salary. That I will not do. If I'm going to ask others to come and give, I have to lead by example. So I'm grateful that I can do that. And I'm grateful for the support that has come. And we are looking for more people to come and volunteer, but we are looking for people who come in saying, what can I give? Not what can I take? This house that we plan to build, it's a big mansion on the hill, and it's going to be completed. But I want everybody to know that we're just now digging the foundation. So don't come home asking for your bedroom. We are not there yet. Don't come home and say, I'm a roofer. I want to put the roof up. Yes, we will get to the roof. So when we get to the roof, you're ready. Yes, we shall come to the drywall. So if you lay drywall, if you're a bricklayer, if you are an electrician, a plumber, there's going to be time that we're going to call on you. But for now, if we need you to pick up the wheelbarrow and bring in the concrete and bring in the bricks, then you do that. That's what this moment is calling for, is totally understanding that this house on the hill, if we can rebuild the brick house on the hill, it's going to take all of us coming together to rebuild that Africa that once was.
Thank you very much, Her Excellency. And I want to assure you that the Pan-African Daily TV is following you at every step, and they trust you. And that's why each time when you're here on the program, it's always a pleasure. As you can see, them watching from all our platforms, a lot of them, and they're saluting you. And they say, yes, we are with you, we are behind you. So I will allow you to take a little break while I go deep into the conversation. And but you that are watching us, remember the $1 million campaign of the ADDI is currently going on. If you haven't made a contribution, please do. I had a sister from the Netherlands who had a lovely conversation with me today, and she was like, Susan, please, we are not reaching out enough. What I have white friends and that are looking forward to help Africans to be what they are. What about that? And I said Her Excellency was going to be here tonight because even in Germany, my platform is just mixed. We're intercultural. So is there any limitation to who wants to support the campaign or to support ADDI? Dr. Arikana?
Oh, she got cut again.
All right. Anyway, David, Dr. David, over to you. Is she back?
Are you back, Ambassador? Oh.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now you're back, Ambassador.
Okay, thank you. No, ADDI, it's about all people of African descent and friends of Africa. I can tell you, I came to this country because of the tremendous impact my Peace Corps teachers in Zimbabwe had on me. And these Peace Corps teachers were white people. And some of them, up until a couple of them have passed, I have remained in communication with them. I have many friends who are white, and they understand the importance of why we must live and strive and demand a righteous world. We want our children, regardless of their skin color, to enjoy this world to the fullest and not ever have to worry about moving to Africa because of the color of their skin. And they don't know how Africans are going to treat them because they're white. And vice versa. The African kids should also feel free to come to Europe, to come to the United States and live happily and never have to worry about consequences due to the color of their skin. There are many non-Black people who understand why this moment is calling for change. So we're calling for everyone who believes in racial equality, who believe in the world doing what is right, just, and fair when it comes to the treatment of Black people. We're calling on all those friends of Africa, those who marched with us during the demonstrations after George Floyd and many others. We are calling on all of them to come join us in saying abuse of Black people can no longer be tolerated anywhere on earth, and that we demand a more righteous world. So now, the color of your skin has nothing to do with giving to the $1 Million Campaign. We're simply saying, if you believe in a righteous world, if you believe in a world that says no to racism, come join ADDI and support the $1 Million Campaign.
Okay, thank you. I think that's clear enough. Let me get back now to the king and ask Dr. David. You are in charge of healthcare. What impact do you bring to the ADDI or contribute in this sector?
Oh, thank you very much, Susan. I've noticed on the chat room, people are asking, who's Dr. Kajila? Where is he
Exactly.
from? Is he a chief or is he whatever it is? Yeah, I'm a medical doctor, like Ambassador Arikana. I'm also from Southern Africa, from a country called Zambia. And I'm a specialist in internal medicine and cardiology. So I'm a cardiologist trained in South Africa, and then crossed over the seas to Canada, where I've been for almost 20 years, practicing. I'm a clinician background, and but I'm also an entrepreneur in the sense that after working in the hospital setting for several years and doing everything I thought I could do, I thought an opportunity came up where I went into private practice and set up my own lab in the city I live in. And through my partnership with another gentleman from India, we have created an environment where we can see our patients in a very timely fashion. And as a result, we've lowered mortality in our city by sorting out all those rapid access patients who need immediate investigation and management. So with that background, for 6 years, I've been doing that. Then I started asking myself a very important question. I said, what is my purpose in life? Is it just to be out here in Canada working and looking after 80-year-olds, 95-year-olds, putting in defibrillators and all that? How about back home in Africa, where young people are dying from preventable diseases? So that got me to think that we have enough specialists in the outside world, in the West and East, and what we are lacking is unity of purpose, coming together and going back home and making a difference. So it's through that I came across Ambassador Arikana's message through YouTube and other media. And I just said, man, I got to find a way to link up with this amazing lady who's doing such a powerful job. And so, God has a plan for our lives. I happened to be put in a fundraising organization, a fundraising event where an organization that I had founded called Zambian Global Alliance of Zambian Healthcare Professionals was involved in. And they put me together with ambassadors. So I reached out, and the next thing is I'm here joining the team, and it's such a privilege to be here. So that's my background. What am I bringing to the healthcare sector? I'm bringing passion, and I'm bringing that networking ability to bring together all of us, irrespective of our backgrounds, as long as you're of African descent, whether you're African American, African Caribbean, or continental Africans who've moved here. We need to get together and build our continent. If you look at the statistics on healthcare in Africa, you look at the numbers, they will devastate you. For example, Africa's disease burden constitutes about 25% of the global disease burden. And yet, money committed to healthcare is only 1% of the global healthcare budget of the world. So there's a huge disparity right there. And if you look at every metric from infant mortality rates, maternal mortality rates, we are doing poorly. And then, as Ambassador Arikana has always alluded to, brain drain that started with slavery 400 years ago and continued on with those of us who later on went for either greener pastures or higher education. We have robbed our continent of the brains and the skills that it needs. Now, we are saying we should not cry over spilt milk. It's time to build. This is the time we need to brain gain. Africa needs to gain us back, and we are ready. And we are putting forth our skills, our knowledge to work together with our folk on the ground who are some of the best brains on the continent, but all they need is that support. So I'll end there, but that's really where I'm coming from.
No, you're not going to end here because I still have a lot for you. I mean, we are also sitting with Her Excellency here, who is a medical doctor, as a matter of fact. So,
Yes.
healthcare is one of the sectors that produces a lot of money globally. And now, Africa's deficit in this sector would imply that there's a lot of opportunity for making wealth in this sector, isn't it? Hello?
What is the question again? I didn't quite understand the question.
No, I threw the question for any of you. I said because the deficit in our healthcare system on the continent, it means the high rate of infancy, women dying at birth, on all the diseases is an opportunity for investment and for money making, right?
Absolutely. But one thing we must be clear, money alone put into Africa is not going to deliver the healthcare systems that we require. And like I always use an example, today Africa needs about 1.3 million doctors. We're sitting at maybe a third of that, if that much. No amount of money put into healthcare in systems in Africa will deliver the desired results. I use an example of Ghana, my home country by marriage. There are more Ghanaian doctors in New York City than in the entire country of Ghana. There are more Nigerian doctors in Los Angeles than in the entire country of Nigeria. How then are the heads of states expected to deliver good healthcare systems if the capacity is not there? Last I checked, President Nado, when he first came to office, he thought improving healthcare meant building more hospitals or renovating the old ones. The reality then was a lot of those hospitals, half the wards were empty, not because there were no patients, but because there were no doctors. Let's be realistic and clear about one thing. The brain drain out of Africa has been huge. That applies to every sector. In order for us to truly build a sustainable Africa, we have to match it with capacity building. If we were to bring all the healthcare doctors in the diaspora back to Africa, the African continental doctors, we're not even going to meet a third of the need. What is needed, in addition to not necessarily repatriation of the doctors, but rather we could look back. There's so many different ways that we could make a difference, but we must train, which is why one of the blueprints for ADDI is what we're calling the Wakanda cities of return. They're actually Wakanda centers of excellence that are going to be pillared on a university teaching hospital in a university setup with technical colleges, because make no mistake about it, capacity building is going to be pivotal if we are going to build a sustainable Africa. Let me also make one thing clear to our audience. The colonizers have been in Africa for centuries. Where is the infrastructure they built in Europe with African resources? The whole idea was not for them to develop Africa. Their agenda was to underdevelop Africa for their ultimate benefit.
Absolutely.
Naturally, you do not expect them to build any infrastructure that's going to prosper Africa. They never intended to have a sustainable Africa. If we are to build a sustainable Africa, only the African diaspora can bring that sustainability. Let's make no mistake about that. Let's be very clear about that. The other option is also to hold those who are coming to do business in Africa, to hold them accountable. That when
Yes.
we are going to build roads, these are roads that work for the African people. These are roads that work for the local people, not infrastructure that is designed to extract Africa's wealth out of Africa. So we are going to demand that. But before we demand it of others, we also need to stand up and unite and come up with a plan to join our brothers and sisters on the continent in truly building a truly sustainable Africa that we know has a definite end. 20, 30 years from now, our beloved continent should join the rest of the developed continents around the globe. I truly believe that that sustainability can only be brought by the African diaspora, because when diaspora move back home, they stay. They don't go home just to go have fun and go back wherever they come from. We need sustainable development, and the African diaspora must be on that driver's seat. That is the only way, in my humble opinion.
Thank you
And
very much,
Susan,
Excellency. Yes, go ahead.
yeah, I'd like to chime in there. As the ambassador said, training of healthcare workers will be paramount. As she correctly put it, we have such a huge deficit that even if we all went back, we won't be able to fill in. But what we can do is train, team up with those on the ground to train young people in healthcare, doctors, nurses, and other specialties, so that we can fill in the gap and capacity build. So definitely the Wakanda City concept is a brilliant concept, and we'll select each region, a specific country where we can represent that region. We'll do our due diligence in collecting data regionally and also country-wide data on what is needed in terms of doctors. We have to look at the population, look at the ratio between population and physician, population and nurses, and then have a plan in which we'll be able to actually have a strategic plan at 10, 20 years, and so that we can start filling in that gap. But that would take a holistic approach. It would take the effort of everyone. And I think we have what it takes. We have enough specialists, enough skills out there in the diaspora that can actually make this happen.
All right.
And also forget that in addition to the continental Africans, we often forget that the brain drain started 400 years ago. There are many now who are descendants of the formerly enslaved, who truly are ready to go home. We've gone through a period where many descendants of the formerly enslaved were meant to believe that there's nothing there for them in Africa. They were meant to believe that they were not Africans. Many, unfortunately, even now, I do get those kind of questions when I'm on radio programs, television programs, and people are calling in, and they'll say, "Oh, but I'm African American, I'm different." We still have too many who feel that way. No, you're not different. I always tell them, look at my sister Amira right there. If I'm walking down the street with her in Georgia, they're gonna see two Black women. If they wanna shoot us, they're just gonna shoot two Black women. They're not gonna see one born in New York and one born in Zimbabwe. Equally, I can take her to the streets of Harare, and they're gonna see two Africans walking down the streets. So for those who are not born in Africa, who happen to be Black, to fool yourself into thinking you're not African. That needs to change. You're wrong. But there are too many now, enough, that are now saying, I belong in Africa. Africa is home, and I want to go home. And I'm going to own my Africa, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I don't care what anybody tells me. Whether they say Africa is a diseased or dying continent, which of course is wrong, but that is the image that is painted. We're seeing more and more descendants of the formerly enslaved who are saying, I'm tired, I'm going home. Everybody else on earth, they know where they come from. I need to know where I come from too. Yes, I know I'm African, but it would be nice if I could know where in Africa I come from. Those numbers are really increasing. And I don't think I need to go into that too much, because we got somebody who can speak on a personal level and share with you her own journey of how she got to be where she is. So I will leave that to Amira to shed more light on that. But we have increasing numbers of children of Africa who are also saying, we're standing up, we want to be counted, and that Africa is home.
Thank you very much, Her Excellency. Yes, I'll just go back to Miss Amira Ansah, because I was already curious. I spoke to her and I didn't know that she was African American. I mean, I had the feeling that she's my sister from, I don't know, Ghana, Cameroon, West. I mean, she sounded so like, wow, at home. Hey, Queen, are you Black American? To be honest.
Yes, yes, yes. So thank you so much. And thank you, Her Excellency and Susan. Yeah, I got interrupted a short bit ago. I lost the volume, so I had to log off and come back in. But yes, to continue the conversation as far as Her Excellency was bringing up as it relates to, and for me, it's even hard for me to say that I'm African American. Because that was something that was introduced to me when I was 19 years old. And Jesse Jackson brought it up and said, hey, let's be called this instead, right? So when you are born and raised in America, you know, and I always say, you know, I am that I am, right? I'm this spirit that is in a body, right? And now I have to go by these arbitrary constructs of race, because they really are arbitrary. Just like, you know, people of different color, that's like saying people of different eye color might have a different IQ or something along those lines, right? So just the construct of race to me was something that early on, it was hard for me to just kind of grasp from that aspect. But, you know, understanding the struggle of Black people, we want to just call it Black, but like Her Excellency says, I ain't Black and you ain't white, right? So, but just understanding that construct and understanding how we have been treated in this country and across the globe, because the same thing that happens to enslaved, that happened to enslaved Africans, African Americans that we're calling it now, you know, the same thing happened to colonized continental Africans, right? So everybody has had their struggles. But one thing about being here in America, and for me, just from my personal experience, it basically is a continuous struggle. It's always been an identity issue. Just for me, I was adopted by a multiracial family, so I essentially have a representation of a white mom and a Black father, and so even growing up for me in that kind of construct was is something to grapple with just when you're living in America, right? So from a race perspective, it just kind of really understanding, you know, for me, it's like, okay, I know I didn't come from these two people. So where did I come from? Right. And so when you start to think about those things and where you came from and how you originated, you know, so it's always, and my journey has led me, of course, back to motherland, because one of the first tests that I did was an African ancestry test back in like 2003 or 2013, something along those lines. And it told me that my maternal, because I can only find out what my maternal ancestry is because I'm a woman, and I would need to have a blood sibling that was a boy or a male to be able to find my paternal heritage. So maternally, I am of the Mendi people of Sierra Leone. And I also have traces of the Balanta people out of Guinea-Bissau. And so for me, that was my first, oh my gosh, I am from somewhere. Like, this has just given me some information that genetically nobody can take that from me. Like, that is where I'm from. So for me, that's kind of like my starting point, that I know that I am of these people. And this is something that I didn't find out until I was like in my 40s. But that, you know, so it really does something to just say, you know what, I can actually say, you know, I'm of the Mendi people from Sierra Leone, you know, and it just gives you some kind of like, okay, yeah, I got that, because I never had that experience. Even growing up being adopted, right? You don't come from anybody that you're around. So even people who are with their mom and dad who don't know like where they came from in Africa, at least they know they came from this mom and dad, right? So for me, it was even one more step further, because I'm like, yeah, I know I didn't come from these people, and I still don't know where I came from, right? So getting that news through African ancestry was really like, oh my gosh, it was something that just created a whole movement for me. And I really wanted to participate in finding a way to connect African Americans with their African culture and understanding Africa. And like, let's figure this out, because it is something that we all need to know. And it's important to be connected with your culture and your origin, because it's something that really it 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 closes, or I want to say it almost closes a void, but it opens so much. It opens you up to so much, and just wanting to experience the culture and, you know, see what people look like, and, you know, be able to look at people that are a part of your tribe and say, wow, these people look just like me. These people behave in certain things, and you find out certain things that are innate about you, that you can see that connection when you meet other people who are part of your tribe. I've met many people, and I look and I just observe, and I'm like, wow, these are things that we innately share, just as tribal people, just as humans, you know, because from a human perspective, we all have things, compassion and all of those things that we like to see. But I believe that it's super important. Like I said, once I found out my ancestry, I sought out being able to connect with Africans, being able to connect with continental African people. I served as the president of the African National Chamber of Commerce, where the goal was to pull together Africans and African Americans, because again, there's so many different idiosyncrasies. I'm a young girl from New York. I have a different bop about myself. You know, I have a different way of speaking. I have a different way of doing things. And I see that the same thing happens in African culture. And then even more so, depending on where the African people are from. So there's really a distinct thing as it relates in tribal, their languages, the way that they eat food. It is like, even people from the continent of Africa are so different. They call things different. It could be the same thing and they call it completely something different, right? So the languages are different. So they're the same, but they're different too. And so it's so much that is out there for us to learn. But I think at the foundation, it's just all about love. It's all about compassion. It's all about unity, because when it gets down to the bottom line, in order for us to rise up as a nation, we need to do this as a collective unit, no matter what language we speak, no matter what tribe we're from. So if I can say, if anything kind of just depends on the color of your skin, it would be that. Like, anybody who's Black, let's just unite and build the Africa that we want to see. because we have everything already that we need, and all we need is each other. That's the only thing that's missing. You'll see when you have a leader like Dr. Arikana, who says, you know, we're going to build these Wakanda cities of excellence. And back in December 2018, when I first sat through one of her presentations, it was in Baltimore, and we were and she did a whole presentation on these Wakanda cities of excellence that she wanted to build. And I was just like, oh my gosh, this is great. This is all about smart cities and going and building these cities all across the continent of Africa. This is a wonderful thing. And I'm a techie. I've been in technology for over 25 years. So all of this just was amazing to me. And also just the bringing together of people. So with that, understanding that the goal of this organization, ADDI, is to bring together or to unite all of the African diaspora, and to have the flagship project to be building cities of excellence across the continent. Knowing that that is such a grandiose vision, but also knowing that we have everything that it takes in order to be able to do that. So to me, I'm a very critical thinker. I can automatically see that, yes, this can be done. Like, I can automatically see that. It's not that I thought that thought to make up these cities of excellence, but knowing that it is possible, and all that we have to do is unite and join together and bring everything that we know, our tools, our talent, our treasure together to make this happen. It is something that I know that in my lifetime, that I know that we can have such a grand impact and really do this. And it just takes us working together. And I always call it functional unity. We just have to unite in a functional way towards the goal that we want, so that we can actually see this change happen. We can be participants in the manifestation of it, and actually watch it come to life. And we have what it takes. We're not missing any ingredient. The only thing that we need to do is to be able to unite and work together. And I already explained there's different idiosyncrasies between us as, you know, formerly enslaved Africans, right? And the continental Africans. There's already a lot of those idiosyncrasies. We can speak to all of the things that have been put in place to separate us. But we can't dwell on that. We have to say, okay, some things were put in place to separate us. Full stop. End of the story. Now let's move ahead. And now that we know, we've been awoke, right? We've been awakened by, you know, from my lifetime, you know, I've always been, you know, interested in studying Garvey and Malcolm and all of that. I've always been into, you know, our Black leaders. But now we have Dr. Arikana, who wrote a book, Africa 101, The Wake Up Call, and basically put all of that stuff together in a whole book and said, okay, here we go. Let's start from here. You know, let's see where we were. And she brings together our leaders from Africa, our leaders from America. She's telling all of these stories, how we got here. So now it's up to us. Like, everybody who's listening, it's up to us. There's no other. Nobody's coming to save us but us, right? There's nothing else left for us to do but get it done at this point, right? And again, it's going to take us all working together and setting aside whatever those idiosyncrasies are that have separated us up to this period of time. But we have to join ADDI. We have to join ADDI and set the tone for what it is that needs to be done, so that our future generations, and I mentioned my grandbabies because I'm here with them now, how they can have a better mindset, that they can look forward to unity amongst their people, and actually have a place to call home on the continent, that like that whole returning back home is such a big deal for African American people that I don't think that it's fully understood how important that is, to just be able to say that there is a place that is home, that there is a place that you come from, that is welcoming you back, and that you could, just like you buy houses and land and all of those things here in the United States, that you could do that on the continent of Africa, and help make that a better place, and bring your tools and talent and your treasure there as well, and help your fellow brothers and sisters on the continent with anything that you have to offer. And really, it's a sharing thing, because it's not to say that African Americans go to Africa and can teach every African something. It's to say that we have an exchange, we have an equal exchange that we can make, because we each have something to offer to each other. So it's no savior thing here. It's more or less, let's come together and be the family that we were destined to be. So that's it for me right now.
Wow.
And now I lost the volume again. Oh,
okay.
Were y'all able to hear me? Because
everyone.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Yeah.
All right. I guess I'm gonna have to log off and log back in, because all I see are lips moving.
No, we hear you.
I'll be right back.
We can hear you.
All right. Anyway, let her look and come back. I mean, listening to her speak. I mean, I was just wondering, how does Her Excellency go to pick the right people for ADDI? I mean, I know that there is no competition, or there is no audience, or no audition, but I mean, you could see that fire, and she's just the right person for outreach. Mother, how do you do that? Is that such a touch of a woman? Or, I mean, she's so charged up. I'm like, who is still out there that is still doubting that the continent needs them?
Well, to be honest with you, I often say this to everybody that's with ADDI. Everybody that has come to ADDI, they came to ADDI. I did not go looking for them. And I really feel like all I have to do is think about what I need. Think of how I came together with Dr. Kajila. Dr. Kajila, out of the blues, sends me a text message. And that text message came at a time when I had a moment to reply to him. Ordinarily, loaded up with messages that I'm trying to get caught up responding, but something about when his message came in, and I immediately responded to him. I needed somebody like him at that moment. And I can describe many moments like that when everybody I needed just showed up. Amira, I met Amira. She was just talking, Amira, about how I get to have people like you, amazing people like you, to come join ADDI. She's trying to give me credit that I must have an eye of identifying people like you, because you have so much passion. And I'm trying to let her know that no, the passion is coming to ADDI. Amira lives in Atlanta. When I was still at the African Union Mission, it didn't matter when, how late the event was, Amira would fly at her own expense to this day to fly to Washington to attend events. Sometimes she would, before she started coming to stay with me, she would stay in a hotel at her own expense. And she has continued that to this day. So it's people who have the passion, they get the message, and they want to stand up and be counted. So I can't take credit for having incredible people like Amira, Dr. Kahila, and many others, but they understand the need for why we must come together. And they're coming in to say, Ambassador, these are the tools in my toolbox. What can I do? Let me just add to what Amira spoke to. The issue of identity. Something you and I, you, Dr. Susan Tatar, you, Dr. Kajila, you have never worried about. You have never even thought about. I remember when that experience occurred to me, it was about 10, 12 years ago. I was talking to an African-American friend who just very casually said, you continental Africans, you never have to worry about where you come from. That's something we have to deal with as African-Americans on a daily basis. And for a split second, I said, what are you talking about? And then I thought, I wonder what it's like to not know where you came from. That old age, I was in my 50s when somebody brought it to my attention that there are people who have been born in this world, generation after generation, who grow up wondering, and they live in this world, and they die without that question of where do I come from ever being answered. It was a very painful thing to appreciate, that I've taken for granted something so deep, something so profound. But because I never had to worry about that, it never even crossed my radar. So since that day with my girlfriend, I've also been on a mission to say, there is something terribly wrong that we as Africans have failed to right. It's a serious wrong that African leaders must really pay attention. It's a simple thing. Every Jewish person, they may never set foot on the country of Israel, but they know Israel is home and that they're welcome. African leaders, they owe it to the descendants of the formerly enslaved to pave the way for a pathway for the children of Africa who happen to be born descendants of those who were stolen out of Africa. They did not choose to be born here, but the point is they are here. And it is just the right thing to do to tell them that Africa is home and that they are welcome. It's a deep subconscious pain that descendants of the formerly enslaved, they have to live with every day. And every time I've looked and had engaged a conversation with African American friends, it is there. It's just that they don't know where to take it. They don't know where to take the complaint. They don't know where to go to address it. Where ADDI is saying enough is enough. And that's why we started a program called Know Me by My Name. I came out of that because after that encounter with my girlfriend, I know people know me by my name. My children, the way I named them, they will know who my children are. My third daughter, she's my third daughter. Her name is Afua Mansa. Afua Mansa, you know she's Ghanaian, but you also know that she has two older siblings. So if she should ever get lost, you know you can look for two sisters because that means she's a third girl born in a row. That's her name. All my children, you will know them by their name. You'll know me by my name. So we're saying the program called Know Me by My Name, the descendant of the formerly enslaved, we can only trace them to the last slave master, to the last person who owned their ancestors. That is wrong. The name Smith, the name Washington, the name Jefferson, that's the last plantation your ancestors lived and worked for. That is not right. The children of Africa must go back to where they come from. So Sister Amira, she has done her DNA testing. We know she's a Mindi from the region of Sierra Leone. Remember, Sierra Leone is a name that started after Berlin Conference. What we are interested in is her Mindi heritage. So through Know Me by My Name, we are going to be asking those who wish, as descendants of the formerly enslaved, go to African Ancestry DNA. They're the only ones that have the largest collection of African DNA that they can tell you exactly what kingdom you come from. We're now asking them, and they have a 10% discount if you are an ADDI member. And we're asking them that as they send people their results, they should also send them the top 20 names from that kingdom. And we're encouraging everybody to pick up your kingdom name. And then once every quarter, we're going to have a naming ceremony. You can take that name and officially change it, or you can use it as your nickname. But we know when we hear that name, we will know that that is Sister Amira, a Mindi girl. We want to know that this is Brother so-and-so from the Bamileke people. We want to know you, that your brother so-and-so from Yoruba, from the Benin kingdom, from the whatever kingdom, Monomotapa kingdom, you name it. but we want to know you by your name. That is when we know that the children of Africa have gone back home. You don't have to physically ever step foot on the African continent, but we know you, Amira, a Mindy girl. That's good enough for me. And we owe it to you that you know where you come from. So we are going to be launching this program, Know Me by My Name. And those who wish to know where they come from, choose your kingdom name, get your DNA testing done, choose your kingdom name. Let's know you by your name.
By your name.
Dr. Arikana, just hold it there, mother. I think this is serious what you're saying, because I think it has to be a continental issue. What about us on the continent with the Susan, with the Jonathan, with the Angie? I think at a certain point, I already know mine, and I already have mine. But it's just a matter of time to change and keep everything in place. But should this be a global? Just look at us on the continent, and most of our young women today are naming their children Paris and some kind of, I don't know.
It's all part of the thing. But I think for the kingdom, for those of us who are continental Africans, at least you can say your last name can also take you on. So you take somebody like myself, the name Kwao, it automatically takes me to Ghana. And when you get into Ghana, they will say, oh, the Kwawas are from this part of the country. My name Chiombori will take you to Zimbabwe. And when you get to Zimbabwe, they'll say, oh, yes, the Chiomboris are from this part of the country. We can be traced with our last name. These, again, Western names, I know for a fact, those of us who were colonized by the British, in order for you to be baptized, you had to have a Western name. Otherwise, you would not be baptized in church. So we were forced to have those kind of names because they just didn't think our names were good enough. But the last name, at least, we can keep that. Now, you do find some, I was laughing with one of my brothers. His first name is Ghanaian, and his last name is Taylor. So I was laughing at him. I said, my brother, you got to get rid of that name. Anyway, I don't know how he ended up with a name like Taylor, but and he's a very Ghanaian man, and you get a lot of that in West Africa. But be it as it may, those are some of the issues we need to address. How can you raise your child and call them Taylor? They lose their identity. So it's about that continuity that we need to really work on it on a very serious manner, because all those people, they can trace their family names and not necessarily because some missionary came and their name was Taylor, and that missionary was nice to them and they end up with a name like Taylor. It doesn't have to be. We have a lot of undoing, a lot of learning to do. You're quite right. We need to. How many times do you see Chinese with Western names? They're proud of their names. They're Xing Xing, whatever their names are, confusing as they are to the rest of us, but they know who they are. You know, they can identify themselves based on their names.
Ambassador, may I chime in? In fact, it's a generational issue. Our parents, as you said, the missionaries had an influence. So our parents named us English names and so on. But our generation, we're naming our kids African names. All the 3 kids I have are all purely African. And sometimes they're upset with me saying, how come you got David and I've got a difficult name? I said, no, that's your name. Embrace it. Anyway, sorry, Susan. Just wanted to make that comment.
No, it's okay. It's just like
you a story with my oldest daughter. She wrote an essay to get into college, and she was just one girl who was determined she will go to Yale because her father went to Yale. And there's an option where you can say, I'm putting all my cards in, I want Yale, and I'm not applying anywhere else. So that's what she did. But we did not realize the struggles that she went through with her name.
Yes.
And so her name, I meant, she's Nandi, which is named after Shaka Zulu's mother, but Nanaya Asantua. And so that's the Ghanaian part of her name. She wrote in her essay for college that I'm going to be Nandi Nanaya Asandua Chiedzo, which is my middle name, Chiombori Kwao Jones. She says, Mommy, how is that going to sound? And to have a name like that. But we were just, but we didn't realize how profound that was. So she wrote an essay, a college essay, where she talked about the struggles she had with her name, even as a child. But that essay was so profound. I remember my husband getting a call from the dean of the college. Yale, when you're admitted to a college within Yale, which is, and then of course you become part of that college, and you have your own relationships with people in that college. So the dean of that college called my husband to just tell him, he said, I have just been touched by your daughter's essay. It's so profound. And we had not seen it. She did it and she submitted it. But it was that essay that got her the admission into Yale, because she distinguished herself. The way she analyzed what she went through and how she eventually came back to appreciating her name, and that she's very proud to be named who she is named today. But she went through years of wanting to deny that name, wishing we could change her name, wishing we could rename her. But her analysis of her journey, of her name, was something that was quite profound. And we did subsequently ask her to share that essay with us. It was quite profound, quite profound.
Good.
Wow. I mean, that's why we love the ADDI, and that's also why we from the Pan African Daily TV are so humbled and privileged to always be a part of the ADDI. Yes. I want to congratulate all of you that are watching in your big, big numbers. And I want to give you a very good news from our Excellency that in just 1 week, we came out with, I'm calling it already 15,000. Because I know that some funds might have come out to raise, to round the figure up. So in just 1 week, our $1 million campaign has brought in close to 15,000, and the campaign is still going on. So if you're watching from anywhere around the continent or on the planet, if you're African or non-African, as you heard tonight, please make a contribution on www.ouraddi.org. www.ouraddi.org. We're dropping the link in the chat for those that are new here, but for our Pan-African fans, they know where to go and what to do. Now, the good news is it doesn't mean I contributed this week, I shouldn't contribute this week. Remember, it's a race of who is even going to contribute more. Now, Her Excellency or anybody on the team, could you just give us the statistics where most of the fundings were coming from? If not today, we'll do it next time anyway, but I just asked.
No, the funding actually, in addition to people contributing to the $1 million campaign, more money has been collected, but towards the $1 million campaign was the 14,445. Others contributed to operations fund. I didn't take that amount, but to date, we've collected over 200,000 towards the operations fund, towards the women empowerment, youth empowerment, legacy program, and very little, unfortunately, has been collected towards the COVID. But yeah, people are giving. The bulk of that is going towards the operations fund. So that's why we are really, truly grateful that the diaspora are responding, they are listening, but we need more people. We need more people to contribute. In order for us to do the things that we want to do, we want to open offices in the various African countries, and each office is going to be staffed by a minimum of 3 people, an African, continental African diaspora from that country, a diaspora from either the US, African American, African Caribbean, African Latino, or African European, and then a local person from that particular country. At a minimum, each office is going to be staffed that way. We are looking at opening at least 6 offices before the end of the year. We're doing a lot of great work. Soon we're going to start launching investment opportunities in various African countries. Every 2 weeks, we're going to be launching and introducing an investment opportunity. All that takes work. There are people who are working volunteer hours, but we can't continue using volunteers. Yes, we'll have lots of volunteers, but at least we need to have a core office team of people who are salaried. At this point, they are working, they're not getting paid, but that's not sustainable. There's going to be need to travel. We are looking at first week of January, 9 Diaspora at their own expense went to Cape Coast to visit the new location of our city of return, the 5,000 acres of land that's being given to us by the kingdom at their own expense. The entire trip, each person paid for their own. But as time goes on, there's going to need for us to pay for some specialists who need to go to Africa. We are looking at preparatory work that needs to be done as we get ready for the city. All those are things that cost money. And so the $1 million, we're going to need it for us to do the groundwork that needs to be done if we are going to deliver all the things that we have lined up. The blueprint, which is about, we're now at about 12 items that we are spearheading. Each one of them, we have directors, we have identified specific projects. For example, Dr. Kajila, he came up with a challenge that we cannot complain about people giving us bad vaccines. We are 1.3 billion people. We can manufacture our own vaccines.
I was coming to that.
That they're going to be sending us bad vaccines. Well, guess what? Manufacture your own. So Dr. Kajila and his team, they're spearheading a project where they have assembled diaspora who are into vaccine manufacturing, people with experience in manufacturing vaccines. And the plan is, let's come up with where we start. Let's identify a pharmaceutical manufacturing plant that is in existence, which is our preference, that we can acquire, and let's begin to manufacture our own vaccines on the continent so we can stop complaining that they're selling us bad vaccines. Mm-hmm. So yes, lots of initiatives, but all those things require money. And that's what the $1 million is about. So people are giving, but we need more people to give. And we would appreciate if either you give financially or you can give of your time, but whatever you do, if you believe in our Africa, if you believe in the fact that our status as Black people have got to change, if you believe that sustainable Africa can only be built when the children of Africa come together, then you need to come to the table. You need to stand up and be counted, and you need to put your money where your mouth is. So we thank those who have contributed. We thank those who will contribute, but we're asking for everybody to stand up and be counted, just like many have, but we need many, many, many more. So in addition to contributing, please be sure to also sign up. We're looking for 1 million members and $1 million. Go to ADDI.org, our ADDI.org, and sign up, become a member, but also contribute towards whatever initiative you're comfortable with. But today we are talking about the $1 million campaign. Thank you for your support.
Thank you very much. I wanted to come back to Dr. David, and I know, yes, Her Excellency has already thrown a little bit of light, but my focus was really on the COVID and vaccine. Like, you know, is it possible that you or us and wait for the world to define what kind of medications? And then the second question would actually be like, are you also considering not only the skills but also the resources in terms of herbs that we have? And we definitely know that even the medications will come in conventional medicines, but what is put into it are plants that are also, you know, taken from the continent. So how far is this project going on? Because I mean, Africans are just waiting at the mercy of who?
Oh, sorry. Let me just. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for that question. And I've seen on the chat room that question pops up about vaccines and why aren't we manufacturing our own drugs. So first point is, as Ambassador said, we are responding to the truth of what's happening. Africa is at the bottom of the food chain when it comes to drugs. You've seen with COVID-19 that we are depending on donations. And so to take many months before people can have access to this vaccine. So it becomes imperative that we start producing our own. And so within our group, what we've been doing is collecting names of people who have certain skills. And I'm proud to say we have over 130 doctors on a platform on WhatsApp. We are just there. A lot of them are just waiting, sitting to be told, what do we do? But within that group, we've also identified highly skilled people. For example, I've got a colleague of mine who's Oxford trained, Harvard trained, senior scientist working for Johnson & Johnson in Boston at Harvard. And he was a senior scientist involved in developing the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, which was just recently developed and distributed. So people like that. We have others like Chris Da Costa, who's been working in vaccine development, Melissa Capullo. We have so many with PhDs. So what we've done is we've created a group. We're coming together. We've already started charting out a strategy on how we can do it. But this brings me to the $1 million campaign. That we have the skills, but we will need the money to actually set up these pharmaceuticals. So it's important that we start contributing our money to raise the $1 million so that we can get a bond of 500 million. And from that bond, we can revitalize some pharmaceuticals that have been lying dormant in Africa and reactivate them. The other question about why are we always looking to Western medicine for solutions to African problems or to diseases? That is a concern I have too, and the ambassador has too. We do have in our midst people who are specialized in research in herbal medication. Africa is endowed with so much in terms of natural plant-based medications. We know that even some of the modern medications we use, like digoxin, it comes from a plant base. Some of the antibiotics, same thing. If you remember, Susan, our grandparents, our grandmothers, when you have diarrhea or you have something, they would just go in the evening, dig up a root and pump it up, warm it, boil it, you drink and you're fine. So what we need is to get scientists to get those roots, analyze what are the active ingredients, formulate them, turn them into pills. And who knows, maybe even the answer to COVID, true answer lies in Africa, but we just don't know it. So I totally agree with you that we need R&D, research and development, and we have the knowledge. This group that we formed has executives in the pharmaceutical industry, so they know how to build a pharmaceutical plant. And we have scientists in there, pharmacologists. So we just hope it's going to work, and we are trying to get ourselves organized as soon as possible.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Miss Amira, Queen, how do you just give us a little bit of description what you do? I mean, we know your inspiration and how you want to reach out. Please, I just want to beg on the audience. We have 5 more minutes and we're going to open up the lines. I've been seeing people anxiously wanting to bump in. Just give us 5 minutes. Let's say 4 minutes now. So we'll be doing it at 35. And then 35.
Okay.
To the Queen tell us what is her function as outreach and who is it that can reach out to her, and
so right now the function of so my role is director of outreach, and with that it is all about reaching out to the community and building the help to build on the foundation that we've started with ADDI. So for those of you who don't know, ADDI is kind of like brand new in the infancy stage. And like the ambassador kind of explains, we're just pouring the concrete, right? Everything is still wet. Nothing has been settled yet. So we are operating and building at the same time. So it looks like we're saying, come on, everybody. And like Ambassador says, I'm calling y'all here, and this is about to be this magnificent castle on the hill. But right now, we're just now pouring the concrete, right? We need somebody to put the frames up and put the walls in. No, you're not going to come in and have a comfy couch to sit down on. There's not going to be pretty curtains. None of that is here yet, right? We are still in the building phases. So we're calling a lot of people in because we need the time, the talent, the treasure from everyone to help to build. So when folks see that we may be slow to respond to an email or something along those lines, well, keep in mind that we receive hundreds of emails every day. So we are, and our core team is very lean. So we have a very lean team of folks that is currently responding. And so at the same time that we're calling y'all and we're building, we're trying to get our processes together. So we're working from an operation perspective to say, okay, when you call for volunteers, okay, what is the expectation of a volunteer? What are the guidelines? What are we expect? So now we have to sit and write all of that out, even though we have y'all waiting at the door. But we got to kind of, so we're building, we're growing, we're calling, we're doing everything kind of simultaneously. But a lot of things are being put into place, operationally. So that's kind of really been the focus right now is the operations. How is this going to work? What is the mechanics of this? Because again, our goal is 1 million strong. So when we're talking about building something that is 1 million people, and right now we're just under 10,000 that have registered, right? So we're like at 1%, not even 1% of what we need and what our goal is and what the vision is. So again, understanding that we are building, we are calling people, we are developing, we are doing all of these things simultaneously. So when folks make requests to us and things along those lines, trust and believe that we want each and every one of you. Everybody who has reached out, we know who you are. Make sure that you register and are ready. So when the gate opens and we're saying, okay, this is our volunteers, this is what we're going to do with them. These are these different sectors. We have over 12 different sectors of the organization that focuses on different areas. And so again, working to make sure that all of the people that are interested in those particular sectors, that when they join those sectors, that there's actually action items and there's some type of organization and structure for those sectors as well. So again, this is newly created. It's about to be this amazing thing. We need you to basically see the vision. Understand that we're building it as we go. So no, it may not look all neat and well put together, but that's what we need you for. We need each and every one to come in and kind of help grow it to what we know that it can be. So yeah, we're off the starting blocks, but again, as it relates to building this castle, we are literally at the foundation of it, and we are building and growing at the same time. And again, we're trying to get to 1 million and we're at about 8,000 right now. So we need a lot more. Again, we're barely at 1% of what we're trying to accomplish. So again, welcome everybody. We want you all here. Yeah, we might be a little slow in response, but that just goes to show you that we need you. And we are building something beautiful, and we're preparing the place for you all to come in so that we can continue together to prepare the place for those who are coming after us. So yeah, it's exciting to be a part of the outreach community. And really working towards getting everyone together. We are planning a launch event for the organization. Right now, it's slated to take place in May. We don't have a whole lot of information right now, but we are going to be doing an official launch for ADDI and have some really special things in store that's going to allow us to really utilize the community globally to really come together and support this effort.
Wow. I just
lose y'all again. So every time I talk, it just goes away. Is that what that is?
I don't know, but we're hearing you.
I can't hear you, but I know you can hear me. So I'm just going to log off and log back in. I shall return.
We hear you. I don't know. Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you. I mean,
I want to give a feedback. I want to give a feedback from Kivia Feld. Kivia Felt is watching and she says, Her Excellency Dr. Arikana, you give me life. I love you so much, Queen Mother. And it is a kind of a feeling to, just hear this, because for the first time, Africans have just been dying to hear a leader, a voice that looks after them, that even say, I am here and that I'm ready to give, I'm ready to build something. So it's a wonderful feeling to get this. And there are thousands of these comments in here, Mom. I really cannot even read them. And she's from Harlem or here. And every other person that is here, Kofi, and I mean, I don't know, the comments are just amazing today. The ones that are just pumping their hearts out there. And I even heard some in the chat saying, Dr. David, are you going to change the name David?
Yeah, that was my mother and dad gave me, so I'll keep it for now. I'm too old to change, but I've definitely got a middle name actually, which you can use, but we can talk about that later.
All right. So the lines are open for all that who want to call in. And someone is saying, I really want to address something with Dr. Arikana. So please call in now on WhatsApp +49 1578 211 2379. +49 1578 211 2379. Please, the lines are open. While we're waiting to take your calls, we want to thank you so much and invite you to our $1 million challenge, um, which is open. We're still at 0.000 something percent. So please make a contribution. And in as much as the lockdown is open in Europe, this is good news that we're bringing to you. We're also going to officially launch the ADDI Europe. And something is even coming up. I'm sure we're working on organizing the United Africa Festival in Ghana this year. So the ADDI is going to be the main focus and other initiative to bring the diaspora, just for us to meet and share and enjoy. Just join our first time of meeting again. So Ghana 2021, I already had, okay, I had the PA dropping some dates right now and said I should mention to you that it's from the 22nd of November to the 5th of December. So we're gonna get a 3 or 2 weeks in Ghana, and we're just gonna meet with Queen Mother Arikana and just dance and just celebrate and just heal ourselves, and do a lot of incredible things. And then we're going to go to the Wakanda City space, take some pictures out there. I mean, it's going to be amazing. So please save the date already. Start booking your ticket, because Ghana 2021, the Pan African Daily TV is taking the African United Festival down to motherland, and her queen is going to be leading this festival. Okay, so you get the message, but I'll be dropping the flyers and information on how you can participate, because it's going to be a lot. But we just want to meet and just dance and love ourselves. Okay. Hello, I'm putting in the calls, please. Hello. Yes.
Hello, how you doing today?
Fine, thank you, sir.
I've been blessed by the call and what I've been hearing. I got to hear the Dr. Ambassador Arikana maybe a year ago, but the lady, she just don't know how much she blessed my spirit with the wisdom that she was dropping. God is using you. He's using this sister right here. I definitely would like to meet her and get involved in your program.
Wow.
And I was wondering, my question is, I would like to ask, any of the African governments probably give any land for us to resettle back? Because, man, it's hard in America. I mean, dealing with the racism, white supremacy every day, sometimes I just want to pack up and leave.
Okay. Yes.
I would like to know, any African, governments, countries, probably would they be willing to probably subsidize some land for Black Americans to come back and repatriate?
All right. I think Her Excellency would answer that question. That's a question for her, right?
Yes.
All right.
Tell the sister I would like to know how to get in contact with her.
No problem. I have your number. I will tell you how to get in contact with her.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Thank you, sir. If I missed your call, please just call again. We're going to assemble all the calls and then we start responding to them. And there are just so many calls coming in. Please do be patient if we can take all your calls. Queen Mother has been kicked out for whatever reason, we don't know. Thank you for those that are contributing on our super chat. Remember, you can also support the Pan-African Daily TV to host these daily programs by just contributing to the super chat live or on our GoFundMe and PayPal link that is dropped into this chat. So I want to thank those that are already contributing and making that impact so we can move. Hello?
Hello?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I want to ask Dr. Arikana a question. My name is Gerald, and I've actually called before. I was privileged to have spoken with her on this channel some time ago. So I want to ask if it is possible for Dr. Arikana to create a sort of direct supply route between local farmers in Africa and distributors in Europe and America, and then the route will be such that ADDI manages the supply chain directly, so that like for example, a product like coffee alone can raise more than like $4 million. So is it possible for ADDI to explore that kind of opportunity, especially now that we are happy to be having Dr. Okonjo-Iweala as the director of director of the World Trade. I don't know if it's possible. I think it would be worth looking into that kind of thing, creating that kind of enterprise opportunity.
Okay.
I can raise funds. Yeah.
All right.
Can I answer that one?
Yes, please.
Okay. What we have done, it's a great question. And really, we are quite blessed that we're going to have Ngozi as the Director General of WTO. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Having Ngozi as the Director General of WTO, we are hoping that she will begin to address some of the unfair trade policies that have made it difficult for Africans to add value to our natural resources. And of course, a lot of them are country specific, but also the renaming of African products as originating from elsewhere. There's so many trade imbalances issues that need to be addressed. So we are hoping that Ngozi can help us address that. As far as, and we congratulate her, by the way, as Black women, she makes us proud, and we walk with an extra pep in our step every day when we have people like her in those positions. Congratulations to you, Ngozi. As far as ADDI is concerned, we're now starting, we haven't launched it yet, but we're going to be launching the Pan-African store under the name Ujamaa. Ujamaa, our hope is we can end up having it as our own Amazon. We are calling on current vendors of African products coming to the US, coming to Europe, to bring your products to ADDI. Our own brother, Mably, is going to be heading that initiative. We are going to be having a webinar, first to invite all vendors to come and hear the plan and how we plan to have our own equivalent of Amazon of African products. Currently, the majority of people who are consuming African products such as fufu or shea butter is not brought into Europe or the Americas by the Africans or people who look like us. It's being brought by others. We are consumers of Chinese ideas. That needs to change. We're simply saying we cannot eat fufu from Nigeria that's been brought to Texas by a Chinese. The fufu from Nigeria being consumed in Texas must be brought by an African diaspora or an African from the continent. That can be done very easily. It simply means we need to collaborate. For example, we have one of our brothers who actually, his issue has been finding vendors of African products. For some reason, there is a big demand for African coffee, from what I hear, in a lot of the North American convenience stores. They cannot seem to get enough supply of African coffee. Africans, on the other hand, are having problems with placement of their products in the American market. And so our job as ADDI is to be that bridge. So now we are looking at pulling together coffee growers. So one of the guys who has joined ADDI team, his family actually, a family of coffee growers out of Kenya. And there are many people, many coffee growers, many coffee growing families in his village. And he's going to be reaching out to as many cooperatives to make sure that we get the large quantities that we need if we are to get a contract with any of these big box stores. The vendor that, the diaspora who has joined us, he has his supplier, his contact rather, has can place products from Canada all the way to South America. So those are the linkages that we are hoping to create through our Pan-African store, AKA Ujamaa. We will let you know when we are going to launch that. We'll be calling on as many vendors of African products as possible to come to the table. We're also going to be doing something else. Those vendors who have products that are not quite shelf ready to the standards, to the European standards, to the African standards, we'll be more than happy, again, through Diaspora, who have come to ADDI, who know how to brand products, and they will facilitate and assist them in making sure that their products are shelf ready. So yes, my brother, your point is very well taken. It is an important point, and we need to support our own farmers, and we can do it. And all we have to do is unite. ADDI is on it. Be on the lookout for when we are going to be launching the ADDI Pan-African store. Thank you for your question.
Beautiful. Hello, we have another caller on the line. Hello.
Peace. Hello.
Hello.
Oh, how are you doing, sister?
Fine, thank you. Yes.
Oh, family, this is another great program which you have on, especially with having Dr. Arikana and her staff with her. The information is definitely very important at this point in time. I really think it should be a ADDI commercial put on every YouTube channel of any Black or African or promoting Africa and the return or their activities on the continent or the consideration of going to the continent. Everyone who has a YouTube channel at this particular time to be running a commercial of membership for the ADDI registration membership. It's important at this particular time for us to get that 1 million number up. And that's one way to be able to assist ADDI to get that number, which is needed, the glorious numbers in which Dr. Arikana is requesting. So I'm on board. I'm already registered. I'm myself, once again, this is doing Garvey, which is what Dr. Arikana is doing is almost like a blueprint that Garvey was looking to do. It's good to see a sister take the strong stance that she has right now and taking on the responsibility. You know, it's definitely a treacherous course to take when you trying to uplift your people under a way of being independent of anyone else besides using her own people to be able to strengthen our foundation. And that's us controlling the continent once again. And I think Sister Arikana has definitely put forth a great effort at this time. And I think we should all follow and support it, you know, and we should definitely put it on a platform for all of us to be able to join ADDI for it to get to that number quicker, sooner than later.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you once again, Sister. Peace.
Thank you too. Thank you. Yes, as you all know, I don't think it's even something that if you're an African listening, they have to tell you put the ADDI. And we stopped saying that anymore. We're just going, whether Africa likes it or not, ADDI is the core. Whether we like it or not, I'm tired of telling us we need to share the link, we need to support it. I'm not doing it. The Pan African Daily is the part. And if you don't want to be a part, tomorrow you would be, whether you like it or not. There's no other structure on the continent or in its diaspora that is representing the interests of Africans worldwide like the ADDI. There is no other that is pushing this agenda of a united Africa for Africans by Africans, like the ADDI. There is no platform that owns a powerful woman and a mother that weeps and yearns for her children, like the ADDI. There is no platform that would harness all this wealth of skills and resources, and she doesn't even give a damn what France or who thinks about her. She is putting all her life there. No platform. So we are not going to be advocating or begging you Africans who everywhere you are, you're doing your thing to promote ADDI. ADDI has come to stay. It is the wish of the ancestors, and nobody can stop it. The only thing you can do is just join in. If you don't join in now, ADDI will take you by force. There is no way out of it. Okay. So I want to thank all of you for this contribution, but I like it, brother, because this impact of pushing it again, it's like we're saying we're woke. We want the Africans. We want to do this. And mom is here every night telling us to contribute. I mean, telling you things we already know. Come on, give me a break. We're not going to be asking you again. You will just see ADDI go. It is already gone, and nothing can stop it. The only thing you can do is just be part of this wonderful, smart, sexy project. And your name is already in the legacy of Africa and the generations to come. So, what are you waiting for? I'm already in, as you can see, every Saturday. We are here with the team A, and we're also operating on the ADDI Europe. And we're going to launch it big time in Europe. We're taking it all over the continent. What about you? Just join in and let's make it smart, right? Okay.
Susan, I'd just like to say social media is a powerful tool. We have Social Africa, we have Pan-African TV network. I think we should utilize that in our social interactions. We should talk about ADDI and share. You'll be surprised how powerful social media is compared to even ads on TV, especially young people. We need to reach out to them. Anyway.
Of course, we also have the AfroWorld.tv. That's the first platform social media for, and Her Excellency was here and launched it. And we have even a page from the ADDI. What is it that we don't actually really do? We're just calling on all our brothers. We have huge YouTubers with millions of followers. I mean, come on, give me a break. But nobody is going to challenge ADDI. What I'm just saying is these platforms are there. Africans know it. Africans come on the Pan-African Daily TV, promote their own things. But when it comes to just building and uniting, it is hard. Why is it that hard?
Yeah.
So we're not going to be wasting our time and telling people support ADDI. What we're going to be doing is just do it and go. But what I know is the wind of change has come and nobody can stop it. It is Africa's time. And we have the Queen Mother here. It is our time. Sorry. Yes.
But also,
we don't know how to say it again.
We
Hello?
want people to also know that ADDI is here to make your organization better. So if you are an organization, come join ADDI. We make what you do better. We simply make sure that your brothers and sisters know about what you're doing worldwide. We make what you do better. ADDI does not take away from what you are already doing. We are here to say different organizations operating in small silos. Let's all come together. Let's make sure what you do it better. You collaborate with others who are doing what you're doing. As we're talking about, for example, the coffee growers, the people we are talking about, they want large quantities of coffee. That's not something one vendor with a small store can do. We want many of you who are doing the same thing to come together and be able to deliver what the contract is going to be looking for. I had a case of a lady who was a buyer for Walmart. She was a patient of mine. And she came to me and she said, you know, doc, I have a problem in the sense that I really want to support African vendors, but they all come to me with products Walmart is not looking for. She had spoken to people who were making dresses and they wanted to bring dresses to Walmart. So Walmart is not interested in dresses. Walmart is interested in bed sheets. At that time, this was about 10 years ago, Walmart was not getting enough orders for bed sheets. So she was saying she tried to talk to these women individually to say, can you not start making bed sheets? If you can make a dress, surely you can stitch a bed sheet. But what was needed was collaboration among many of these dressmakers. That's where the challenge came in. They all wanted to do their little individual thing. They would not get the contract from Walmart because as small individuals, they didn't have the quantities. What Walmart needed at that time were large quantities of bed sheets, which meant many dressmakers would have to come together. Crossing that bridge of saying me, me, me is why I could never get enough of them to come together and agree to give up making dresses and start stitching bed sheets in order for them to get the contract. That thinking of saying at the end of the day, what are you doing? You are doing this because you want to put food on your table for your children. You are doing this because you want to send your kids to school. You need money. So if the money is in bed sheets, then be prepared to move. And if the money is in collaboration, be prepared to do that. ADDI is creating that platform to talk about it, to enlighten each other, to wake each other up, to say, wake up. This is where the money is. If there's need for change, this is where the change needs to come in. And when there's need for collaboration, we can reach your brothers and sisters who are doing the same thing. So ADDI is there to make what you do better. It's about the collaborations that we have failed to have. We come to ADDI to collaborate, to speak with one voice and say, enough is enough, insanity no more. We will no longer be divided. We are going together.
Thank you very much, Ma. I have to take this one last call, and please keep it short, okay? But hold on. Before I pick your call, hold on, please. I just want to remind our viewers that ADDI is here every Saturday. We made this edition a special and exclusive edition until we get the $1 million. When we get the $1 million that we start implementing, then we're going to subsidize this Saturdays for other programs. But we also have other upcoming programs which cannot fit during the week, and they're also acting or asking for a space on Saturday. So next Saturday we're going to be having a double pack. We're going to have the ADDI team, and we're still also going to have a very prominent king from the continent that wants to address the diaspora. And one of the focus is he wants to actually put the focus on the ADDI and the need for us Africans on the continent, to despite that is the African Diaspora Organization to also focus on that. So that is very good and clear. Tomorrow, Maponga Joshua would be live. Maponga is going to also address issues concerning the diaspora and the need for us to rally behind the ADDI campaign fund. But of course, he's also going to talk about his AU election 2021 that was unfair and the petition against that. Of course, Maponga is also going to talk about his ideas about the COVID and the pandemic, which actually are aligning with the ideas of the ADI, and also cybercrime. Cybercrime, a lot of contributors on the forum, particularly our top guests, have been complaining of people hacking their accounts and stuff like that. We don't know. And cloning, you can see ADDI being cloned, or you can see Dr. Arikana's Facebook page being cloned into many. So it's not really necessary. We want to find out who are those that are behind these pages and call on the diaspora to be vigilant on this crime. As we are rising, the enemy is also rising. They are not sleeping. But tomorrow also we want to gather around and celebrate Bobby Wine, who just clocked 39. And so we'll be taking in some calls to wish him some happy birthday celebrations. So Okay, that was just the news of the Pan African Daily. And go back to take the call. Hello.
Hello, good evening, my dear sister.
Good. Thank you. Yes.
How are you?
Fine.
Miss you a lot.
I miss you too, Kofi. Yes.
Let me greet my mom, Miss Arikana.
Yeah.
May our ancestors guide you forever and ever. No one can even, touch him for nowhere at all. But one thing I want to point on this topic about our culture, the name surface, you know. I particularly, I'm so lucky. In my youth time, my old dad used to take me to the village for the festival time, you know. So when they take me to the festival, those I know my grandfather, but my name is they come from my grandfather. So those I know my grandfather, when they see me, and when they call me, they call the slogan behind that name. When they call me, no? So when they call that name, they mention the slogan which behind the name. Many slogans where they take then I ask like people when they go with they mention all those names. Say yes, because your grandfather is a great man. That is why he get this kind of slogan. So it's something which we Africans we lose it. We lost it. We lost it. You see, right now, my kid here, 17 years. One of my kid born in 2003. I'm this name to my kid, which is David Amaka. In English is one day I will say. So now we short it called one day, which is AB. So some of my Ghanaian people, when they see me, they ask me the name of my kid. When I mention it, they say, you are troublesome for somebody. Because the name, tell them something, then say I'm a troublesome somebody. Because they prefer for me to call my kid name Christopher or Francisco or such names. So this is my point for today for contributing the topic which where we are in now. So long live Africa.
Long live you too. And please thank you if you give the name and say one day you will see. What is it that you wanted her to see? Kofi, thank you so much. I mean, yeah, we missed you on this forum. Anyway, I'll have to give is Doctor in or out?
I'm here.
No, I'm talking about Dr. Arikana. I heard you, Papa Kofi. Thank you for your call. Yeah. So maybe one word. I'll start with Miss Amira, and then we go to Dr. David, and Dr. Arikana would conclude.
All right, wonderful. Thank you. I wouldn't be doing my job as director of outreach if I don't say, please join ADDI. So ouraddi.org/join to join ADDI. If you'd like to send us a message, feel free to send an email to info@ouraddi.org. Always go to the website to donate. So again, ouraddi.org/donate will take you to the donation page. Also, we have been working together with social.africa from a social media perspective. So feel free to download that app or go to it, visit it in your browser at social.africa. So those are the things that I would like to leave with, but please join ADDI. And like I said, we have just over 8,000 members that have joined. We're trying to make it to 1 million. And because we only have 8,000 members that join, we touch millions of people. We just need to get them to actually come in and join. All right. So there are a lot of people that have an interest in what we're doing, but we need to actually have you registered with the website. So please, even if you've attended the webinar, you're attending this right now, and you're actively participating and donating, make sure that you're also a member so you're accounted for. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the time. Thank you, Dr. Susan, for having us.
Thank you so much, Queen. Dr. David?
My brothers and sisters, I want to leave you with this saying that faith is taking the first step even when you don't see a whole staircase, the words of Martin Luther King Jr. And if you want to know where did I see that, I saw that from this book, Africa 101. I have the hard copy, which I ordered from the ambassador. And I was so excited when I received it. And I actually bought it for Christmas for my children. And so it's here now. So you read this book and you'll have a history, a background to why we're doing what we're doing. But also I want to say that we in the healthcare sector need all of you. I think if you look at statistics on diaspora, which sector has the most people who are employed in that field, probably healthcare will be one of the highest. So we have no excuse. We have thousands and thousands of doctors, nurses, pharmacists, technologists. We want you all to join ADDI. We want you to register, and please contact us and we'll put you in one of the WhatsApp groups that we've created. So please join us, and remember the $1 million campaign. Everything we are saying here cannot happen if we don't have the finances. Whoever holds the economic power, holds the political power, holds everything. So Africans, wake up, let's come together, put our money where our mouth is, and let's do it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, we have one very important topic, and honestly, I'll still have to find time because one of the projects that we want to see on the ADDI is the book reading. And the book reading, we're going to start with the Africa 101. So I would like Her Excellency to say something about it. The book reading club would really focus even, in family groups, stuff like that. Dr. Arikana?
Yes, Africa 101 is a book that I wrote because during the time, my tenure as the AU ambassador to the US, I attended a lot of seminars with Diaspora. I did a lot of videos, but I realized that the reason we were not doing what we were supposed to do as Diaspora quite often is because we didn't quite understand what was really going on. It's important that we understand our history. So Africa 101 was my way of saying, let me just put it all out in a book, easy to read book for everybody to just say, this is where we have been, this is where we are, and what we need to do to get ourselves out of the doldrums that we found ourselves in as Black people, not only in Africa, but around the globe. Africa 101, The Wake Up Call, is a book that I hope when you finish reading it, you will be way on your way to the journey of self-healing and self-discovery. I encourage all of you to use it as a dinner table conversation. It's a conversation that we need to begin with our children, even those who cannot read yet. What I've done at the end of every chapter, there's a video, about 3 to 5 minutes, talking about that chapter, why I wrote it, and what I hope you can get out of it. So those who are not able to read, they can at least listen to the video. It's a total of 25 videos. At the end of each chapter, there's a barcode that you can scan and you can listen. It'll take you to the YouTube, so you can listen. So Africa101.org, Africa101.org. Go there, get your copy, and begin the much-needed conversation with not only yourself, but with your children and other family members. Let me conclude by saying we want to thank all of you for tuning in today, particularly Dr. Susan Tata, for your tireless work of bringing us together, keeping us informed, bringing the important voices that need to continue to remind us that we are still continuing the struggle that our Pan-African fathers started back in 1963 when they met with the hope of creating an Africa that spoke with one voice. They failed. We are still mission not yet accomplished. There is a need for Africa to speak with one voice. That is the only way that we can take our rightful place on the world stage. No two ways about it. The conversation that you share with us on this platform, Dr. Tata, these are conversations that are so needed. They've been needed for far too long. We thank you for what you do. ADDI is trying to do our part in bringing our children together, particularly those in the diaspora who for far too long we have not had the representation that we have needed. We have not spoken with one voice, which is why we seem to be left in the wilderness. trying to survive individually. This moment is saying enough is enough. We must come together. We're the most intelligent, most sophisticated, hardworking people I know. I know we can do this. We have about a dozen blueprint projects that range from demanding from our heads of states that we should be given priority of all projects before they look out to non-Africans for contracts. They must consider their children first in the diaspora. Those conversations require a lot of lobbying and networking to make sure that we are prioritized when it comes to contracts out of Africa. We have projects such as reparations. That's an issue that we have been left out because we don't speak with one voice. ADDI is pushing for a united document about reparations. So once and for all, the issues of what has been done to keep Black people from accessing wealth must be addressed. We are owed reparations, just like the Japanese, just like the Jews. We too deserve our reparations. A united voice is something we are working on. We're bringing lawyers together to look at this issue, lawyers who are gurus in the issues of reparations. All we are asking is we need a document that is all encompassing, looking at all Black people around the world. So we can take our issues to the US Congress, to the European Union, African Union, and as well the United Nations. We need to make sure we have a united voice to speak on the issue of reparations. The issue of the sixth region, the heads of states have made a proclamation, but it's really just a political proclamation. We want them to actualize the sixth region so we can have the same status as the ECOWAS, the West African Community, East Africa, Southern Africa, Central Africa, and North Africa. That is yet to be done. ADDI is pushing. We have assembled lawyers again to work on a document that we hope to present to the African Union pertaining to the establishment of the sixth region, not to go beyond just being a political proclamation. Many issues, of course, this the Wakanda City of Return, the issue of bad drugs for Africa. We have our healthcare sector looking into all that and making sure that we champion manufacturing more and more drugs out of Africa so we can stop this carnage of poison being sent to Africa. We have issues such as, again, I already told you about Nomi by my name. We have the issues of food sufficiency and food security that's going to be led by our agricultural sector, where lots of poison. We have an issue of tomato paste right now that's circulating around the social media, where a lot of the food that's going to Africa, tomato paste, some of it is not even 50% tomato sauce. The rest is fillers. We cannot have them sending poison to Africa. But the only way for us to stop it is to begin to manufacture our own food. So the sector, the agricultural sector, is looking into how do we begin, one, to talk about the issues of poison being sent to Africa like food, in the form of food. And also, how do we address it? Just like the medications, we need to start producing our own food. So the agricultural sector is mapping out those issues and is going to come up with a plan. All that, it takes money. So many initiatives that we are starting, and every one of them, their diaspora in those sectors who are standing up and saying, Ambassador, we can do this. So the strategic planning for all that is underway. IT sector is coming up with some amazing things. We have our Social Africa, which is a platform similar to Facebook, similar to summarize what he said. Social Africa is if YouTube, Facebook, and WhatsApp were to have a child, that child will be Social Africa. So we encourage all of you to support Social Africa. It is a platform just like Facebook. The choice is yours. Do you want to support Zuckerberg, or do you want to support one of your own? Or you can support both. There's nothing wrong with that. We're just saying there is an alternative that is owned by one of us. We are simply saying, let's create an ecosystem where we can consume what we own. We are consumers of other people's products. ADDI is saying that needs to change. We have enough that we can do to take care of ourselves. We are creating that ecosystem where we can own, consume, live in, wear what we own and what we produce. So join our ADDI.org, OURADDI.org. Join others who have stood up, the likes of Sister Amira. We We've lost her again, Dr. Kajila, and many others. Thousands of you who have contributed ADDI, the $1 Million Campaign. I hope when we come back next week, we'll have at a minimum another 15,000 that would have been donated towards our $1 Million Campaign. We are counting on all of you because this movement is our movement. It is our only hope to speak with one voice as we make our way towards going back home to Africa as a united front of Mother Africa's children. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. I think that was a very the very best of a conclusion that we all have enjoyed. And I want to thank all of you that have been watching. And we are going to have ADI again, as usual, on program next week, Saturday, on Exclusive. And Doctor, you want to tell us who will be coming with you next week?
Oops, right off. I know it's going to be Benson Kasua. I don't remember the second person. I know Benson Kasua is with Trade and Investment. I'm not sure of who the second person is going to be, but I'll let you know. It's going to be Trade for sure, plus one other sector.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mom. Thank you, Dr. David. Thank you, Miss Amira. I think she's out, and we see us again very soon on the Pan African Daily TV. Thank you so much. Good night.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Yeah, and I also really want to especially thank our followers tonight on the Pan African Daily, particularly those that have been donating, those that have been chatting, those that have been following these conversations. I want to appreciate you so much. Yes, it is because of your engagement that we are all sitting here to host this conversation. Now, I want to give a very special announcement because normally we don't host our programs on Sunday, but particularly we're going to host Maponga Joshua tomorrow. And we might do it earlier. We might do it earlier because it's a Sunday. And we also know that tomorrow there are a lot of people that are celebrating their Lovers' Day, particularly the newly wedded in 2021 or 2020. And so, yes, we want to give them that time to go and celebrate. And yes. So, but tomorrow we are hosting Maponga Joshua, and we're going to post that a flyer early in the morning. If it's going to be the same time, you will know. But I think it will be earlier, and that should be about 3 p.m. Europe, which should be 9 a.m. out there in the US, and 5 p.m. in East Africa, and 10 a.m. in the Caribbean. So, yes, when you're taking your coffee tomorrow morning out there in the diaspora, please tune in onto the Pan African Daily TV with a moving session with Maponga. Maponga has a lot in stock. And remember, we had him here just once, 2021. And so he has a lot that has been going on that he wants to share with us. You know, this brother, how powerful he is. We all know that, right? Yeah. And so, but I have another very important issue. Like I said, even tomorrow, we're going to combine this and celebrate Bobby Wine, who turned 39. I mean, this powerful son of Africa has impacted the whole world, putting out an agenda and a strong force out there in Uganda that we cannot ignore. We cannot disagree with whatever steps, despite everything that's happening. And even up to today, he's still defending the voices of the marginalized and standing for injustice everywhere on the continent as a young voice, a Pan-African, and a powerful force to reckon with. So, yes, we want to wish him a happy birthday and to celebrate, or Earth Day, like we call it on the Pan-African Daily, to celebrate with him. Now, there is a special guest, very special one, that has just accepted to be on the Pan-African Daily, and we've been following up his event and his engagement on the continent. It has been very difficult to get to him, but guess what? We'll be hosting him on Wednesday. If this name means something to you, or you want to Google it tonight to just find out who this person is before he even comes on the platform, that will do us more good. He's called Professor Obanga Theophile. Professor Obanga Theophile is from origin the Democratic Republic of Congo. I'm telling you, as of now, from what I read in his biography and even context, he's one of the best in I don't know if Professor James Smalls, Professor Obert T. Shakar, Professor Dwayne Nobles would say he is the best. So I don't have anything to even disagree with that. He's the best historian. He's the best Afrocentric, Pan-African. I mean, we know the lot. But I don't know what makes him so special. From what I know, is that he accompanied what they called a Congress, Cheikh Anta Diop as Africa's representative to UNESCO on a particular project, and that has been a lifetime project that ever existed in that format. So we want to thank you so much for following this program, and we would like to host Professor Theophile Obanga and many other top guests that following us on the Pan African Daily. It's going to be a top week coming up next week. Yes. So, but next week is fully booked. So if you want to apply to be a guest, you know it's only going to be the week after next. So what is it that we want to share again here? Like I said, I want to thank all of you for your contributions. It has been very prominent. This is Professor Obanga Theophile, as you can see him here. And the one big engagement and aspects that I wanted to say, he just created the first Pan-African university in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Remember, there are other Pan-African universities from the African Union agenda. But this one, we are saying it's a Pan-African university from Africans, sponsored by Africans for Africans. So it is superb. It is just unique. I don't want to say anything about him. That's why we wanted to get him here on the program to tell us exactly the vision and the mission and the way forward, because it's gonna look it's been looking like all our children will start relocating from all these universities. So there's not gonna be, oh, he studied in Yale, or he studied in Cambridge, or he studied in Oxford, or he studied in this and this. So it's really gonna be actually he studied in the Pan-African University in Congo, in Ethiopia, in Cameroon, and that would be the future of our scholars that we're producing. Right now, the ones that are still in a research format, but this university is uniquely about history and culture, exactly what we're doing on the Pan-African Daily TV. So it's going to be a moving session, please. This is one of the milestones, and I'm so happy and humble that the Pan-African Daily TV is going to be the first. You haven't seen this news anywhere. You're not even going to see it anywhere. Apparently, there's no newspaper that would take it or television. So the Pan-African Daily TV is the first to host him and even to share this news about the Pan-African Daily, the Pan-African University for the first time hosted and brought to you by Africans. Yes, good news, isn't it? So I think I wish all of you that are celebrating the Valentine's or whatever, Lovers Day, a happy celebration tomorrow from our desk. And Tumi is sitting here in the technical and moderating the chats and the conversation. And Tumi says, happy Valentine's to all of you. I don't know what that means, Valentine. I wanted to see a happy coffee or a happy Annie or a happy Tata or a happy something. So I think we will start naming all these feasts and ceremonies about Africa to suit our own agenda, our Pan-African agenda. So maybe some of you innovators and creators is going to come about some Ubuntu Lovers Day, something. So we start celebrating that, isn't it? So, but if you're celebrating, and we wish you all a happy time. Love is the biggest, and we cannot separate that. If you find love, enjoy it, keep it, protect it, okay? Nurture it and preserve it jealously, okay? Yeah. So thank you so much. And for you all, you are my Valentine. All of you out there, you are my Valentine. You're my Valentine. So lots of love to all of you. And we are seeing, yeah, Johnny Boy, I also don't know the meaning. I don't know the meaning. That's why I don't promote it. That's not my thing. Until we start having Ubuntu Day, then we will start doing that. I think Tumi is already twisting face and saying it's time up for the Pan-African Daily and that they want to cruise and hang out with friends here. So I also would be wishing you a good night out there. And we will see ourselves tomorrow on the special edition with Maponga Joshua, Don't forget to tune in. And thank you, Christine, for donating. Thank you for all of you that have donated tonight. It's really amazing to be with you here. And like I share my Valentine, they're already giving it back to me, my Ubuntu. Thank you. Good night. And we see yourselves tomorrow. Please watch Maponga. It's going to be one of the best of Maponga in 2021. Don't miss it tomorrow. And Sunday, we have a lot of time to relax and crack jokes. So it's even going to be more than a 2 hours conversation. It's going to be a lot. Okay. All right. Good night to you out there. We see ourselves tomorrow. Bye-bye.